Hello everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Jeb the Gamer, and I am here to show you guys some gameplay of the Mana and Artifice Minecraft mod. I do have a few other mods installed, however, I don't intend to be using them very much, and if these guys would be more quiet, I could do my intro properly. So, I have a survival world here, where I have gotten a little bit of setup done. As you can see, I'm not completely, situated. My wheat farm is not up to the maximum size that it could be, and actually I'll harvest it while I talk. So, the Mana and Artifice mod is a mod which is considered to be the spiritual successor of Ars Magica. Sorry, I forgot the name of the mod. Where it is a spell-making mod where you try to become a powerful mage. And while this may seem like a fairly simple premise, there's quite a bit of stuff involved, and considering that there wasn't very many people who showed gameplay of it, sorry, I figured that I could do some of this. So, what I'd recommend, the moment you spawn into your world, is you continue searching about and about and about until you find a village or one of these wizard huts. The reason why is because you want to get this book called the Codex Arcana. And the way that it works is that when you right-click on it, it is your guidebook for the mod, but the first time you right-click it, the time will set to night, and it will prompt you to sleep. The message is in the chat here. And then, after you take a nap, you will have magical powers, as indicated by the mana bar in the top left-hand corner. So, that's what you want to do first. You want to obtain the guidebook for the mod. And there actually is a little walkthrough here on how to obtain the magical book, because there are two ways of obtaining it. One of them is finding it in one of these shacks. The other is you find some Vintium ore, you smelt it, you combine it with iron, and then you smelt that, and then you go and find a village, and then you trade those resulting Vintium bars with a villager in order to get the Codex Arcana. However, because I was not able to find a village, despite wandering 5,000, almost like 5,500 blocks away from spawn, I was not able to find a village, and found this thing first. As you can imagine, it was a very long journey, and I obtained a lot of random things, including... Oh, I gotta get out of the water. Including spruce trees, a few jungle trees, and cocoa beans, which are pretty important for the progression of this mod. And I am now situated in this field out here where the wizard hut spawned. Oh, there's trees on the way though. So the way that these wizard huts work, is that you go inside of them, and there will just be this upper chest here. There's all of this stuff, all these related things. There are rune plates, thaumaturgy links, rune scribing recipes, mana potions, and spell wands. And, most importantly, the Codex Arcana is guaranteed to be in these, from what I remember. And there also are a few blast furnaces, crafting bench and furnace, I made the bed, smithing table, cauldrons, an anvil, a lectern, crafting table, and furnace. So there's a lot of stuff in here to help you get set up. Now, one of the first things that I'd recommend you do after you get access to your Codex Arcana is I would make these. They are called rune forges. And the way that they work, if I could find their entry, I'm gonna pin the recipe up here. Now, so basics, in the basics there's the rune forge. Now the rune forge, the way that it works is that it smelts items up to 16 at a time with 0 fuel cost. And the way that you craft them is that you take some sort of stone, some sort of dyed glyph, and then another set of stone. And then you can craft these. Now, you cannot pick them up with a normal pickaxe. I believe you have to have Silk Touch, which I do not have. So I'd make some of these just because they're convenient for smelting stuff, even if they are really slow. I also have a few furnaces about to help with that out. Then next, I would craft an inscription table. Inscription tables, if I can find them. Scribing, you need to have some slabs, some wood, a book, and a carpet. And then you can craft this. The way that these works is that this is how you select spells that you're going to craft. When you start out in tier 1, you have 2 different activators, so you can touch something in order to cast the spell, or you can target yourself. You can deal fire damage, break stuff, fling yourself, slow stuff down, light some stuff. There's a lot of stuff here. However, I am going to demonstrate making a break spell, and I have gathered all the materials needed for this spell before recording the video. Now, as you can see up in the right-hand side, there's a complexity value, a mana cost, and then there's this little jar icon, the scroll icon, and the dust icon. Now, if you look up here, we have Arcanus Ink, Velium, and Arcane Ash. And you need to have those in order to create a spell, so I'd get to work making it. There's instructions on here. Here's how you make Arcanus Ink. You make Purified Ventium Dust, which I'll explain in a bit. Take some ink sacs, glass bottles, and then you have your Arcanus Ink, your Arcane Compound, which is made from Ventium Dust, smelted from Ventium Ore, a magical plant, and Bone Ash, which is made by, I do not believe I have bones, by putting bones in a rune forge. And then you can smelt that Arcane Ash in a rune forge, Arcane Compound to get Arcane Ash. And that Arcane Ash is put into here. Now, Velium, you can obtain it by taking some leather, which, it is in this chest. I'll grab 3 leather. And you can either right-click in a water pool, or, I'm going to pick up some water, or in a cauldron. If you do it in a cauldron, it will be more efficient, getting 2 Velium per leather. So now I've got 6 Velium, which I'm going to put into here. So this is the inscription table, and once you select the spell that you want to make, the required reagents will be in the bottom right-hand corner. You can craft this little arrow here in order to start scribing the spell. It'll take a little bit of time. When it's done, you will get a spell recipe. Now I will show you how to make a spell in a moment. Another thing that you might want to do is craft yourself a mana weaving altar, which is detailed in the mana weaving section. Now, the way that mana weaving works is that after you make some sort of mana weaving wand, whether it be the improvised mana weaving wand, or where are the better wands? Mana weaving. Okay, or the Ventium mana weaver wand, which is what I've made, or eventually the Chimmerite, that stuff, that type of wand, mana weaving wand, you can start making stuff on this altar. Now the way that works is that you toss the reagents onto the altar by right-clicking. You can shift right-click to get stuff back that you don't want to have put there. And then you draw the symbols shown in the recipe, like mana weaving, like the silk. You have to draw a square, as shown in the bottom right-hand corner of the page, and then it will craft that item. Now, the way that you draw shapes with a mana weaving wand is you right-click, and then you can draw something. Now, as you can see, the square has been absorbed by the mana weaving altar, but because I don't want that there, I'm just gonna. Yeah. I managed to get rid of the square. So that's mana weaving altar. You probably need to use it in order to craft most of these recipes. So, now that I've explained how to get up to this point, what is guiding you with the mod? So, with this mod, there is a thing called the oculus. And the oculus will show you how to advance the mod. In order to craft the oculus, you take some Ventium Dust, some glass, and an ornate table, which, if you search here, is carpet, iron nugget, and planks. and you put it into a crafting table. I have the ornate table, glass, and the Vintium dust. You can get yourself an oculus. I'm going to set the oculus into this corner here, which one annoying thing with these houses is that they are lower half slabs. And then you can click the oculus, and it will show you the tasks you need to complete in order to advance your tier. This will tell you what affinity you have, which you will develop an affinity to something as you cast spells of that type. Eldrin Wellsprings are something for later on in the mod. Sorcery. The different spells that you have access to. Rituals, the different rituals you have access to. The different patterns you have access to. This thing will tell you just about anything that you can make at a certain point in the mod. So, while we're at it, the thing will say that we have to craft a spell with complexity 15 or more. I'm instead making the touch dig spell. I will probably cast a fling spell because that has complexity of 15. But for the moment, I'd like to create my touch break spell. I'm going to take a nap. So, one thing you may be wondering, why is there this page up here? And maybe I should have killed that wandering trader before recording this, because they're so loud. How is the page on the side of the screen? Well, if you click on something, you can see this little pin. If you click on that, you can pin something up or take it down. If you are stuck with a pin and you don't quite know where the page is, don't worry. You can go to, say, this one, which is a random page. I don't know what this is for at the moment. You can double click it in order to get rid of the page. So, now we're going to craft our spell. I have all the ingredients needed for the spell in my inventory. You are probably going to want to have to look for the spell ingredients when you start making it. But now I'm going to craft the spell. In order to craft the spell, you have to perform the ritual of arcana. And I'm going to pin that ritual on the side of my screen. And as you can see, it requires tier 1, and it requires a 9x9 area, so I'm going to look for a little open space to cast it in. This area looks like it's big enough. I'm not going to make this thing. However, there's a bunch of stuff here. Well, if you look at the Mana Weaver wand, it will say that you can open by left control and right clicking. You can now see your cantrips, which are spells that do not require you making the scroll for. And you have the ignite spell, which it lights something on fire. I will cast that one in a moment. And the gust spell, which is what I'm going to cast right now, clear up space. In order to cast these spells, you have to draw the shapes of the wand. So in order to cast the fire spell, you have to draw a square, and then a triangle. What do you mean? My triangle. Okay. What's up with this? I will instead make it 2 slashes this way. And now, boom, fire. However, I'm instead going to be casting the other cantrip, Gust. I will go down like this. And then I go down like this. And as you can see, it cleared a little space for me to work. So, in order to set up a ritual, you have to take some wizard's chalk, which is crafted. Rituals. Where's wizard's chalk? Wizard's chalk. You take some Vintium dust, bone ash, flint, and paper. You take all that stuff, and you combine it into wizard's chalk. Now, wizard's chalk, you can draw on the ground with it by right-clicking. So I'm going to draw out the pattern needed for this ritual. So you need, in the center, a 3x3, which is covered by the scroll. You need to draw this shape. You need to draw that shape on the other corners. You need to go out here and here. 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 And here. Whoops. Got 2 spots right here and here. So now we have the requirements for the required space drawn for this spell. However, In order to start a ritual, you have to craft purified Vintium dust, which I believe I left in my house. So, the way that purified Vintium dust works is that you have to craft that arcane ash by smelting stuff. You combine it with Vintium dust and some sort of plant, like cherry blossoms. However, I already have some stuff. Sorry, purified Vintium dust, so I don't need to do so. Here, I've got 5 of it. So the way that the purified Vintium dust interacts with the ritual is that you find the center of your ritual area and you right-click. Now, this Vintium dust is now showing that I need a spell scroll. And that spell scroll will show me what I need to put down. And if you right-click on the thing, assuming you have the item in your inventory, it will put it down for you. So I didn't have to memorize all the bits and pieces that were needed for this ritual, and now I'm going to right-click. And it says that I forgot a feather, so I'm going to right-click that, and now I'm going to right-click in the middle. Now it consumed a Vintium dust, and actually, now look, it's all spinning around, and it's saying that I need to draw a triangle. Now I need to draw a square. I'm not that best at drawing these things. Then I draw a square, and then I draw another square. That said that was a circle. I need to draw a square. And then it absorbs everything and becomes a spell. Now it's got this cool little sprite here, and now I right click, and I can choose to select something. And I guess I will choose this symbol right here. This will be dig. This will be my dig spell. My touch dig. And now I have a spell. Now how do I cast the spell? I right click. And because this is a spell that breaks blocks, I can continue right clicking, right clicking, right clicking, right clicking, and causing a whole lot of noise. And oh, my mana level has been increased because I've been casting magic. I'm gonna just break a lot of blocks here. Come on. I'm trying to show running out of mana. Well, actually, you can probably see that in the top right-hand corner. My mana level is being drained every time I cast a spell, but because this is a really simple spell, it's not really mattering how many times I cast it, because it's a really low concentration spell. So now I can just continue digging. And this spell will mine everything up to the requirements of a stone pick instantly. So I still need a pickaxe, and that's why I still have one. But I can dig stuff quickly so long as they don't require very much stuff. And as you might have heard, I leveled up quite a few times. And now, if you pay attention in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to turn off my subtitles. You can see that I have an affinity to rock symbol, which you can see right there that I have an affinity to something. Affinities will only show if they are above like 1%. But you can also see them if you go in the oculus and go under affinity. And as you can see, my earth affinity is at 10% because the dig spell is a earth affinity spell. So now I'm going to see what other spells I can make. I'll probably create this spell right here because it's more complex. Need a hammer. Mythic focuses. I've got 2 mythic focuses. Actually, I probably could craft this. I just have to check out the Runesmith's hammer. Runesmith's hammer. Yep, 3 Vintium ingots and some stick in a pickaxe shape. Thankfully I have some extra of that because I didn't find a village, and therefore I didn't need to trade it. So Runesmith's Hammer, which is used for stuff. It just is not used for stuff right now, from what I'm aware. Oh, dang it, I forgot to check out the ingredients list. So, gotta draw out my Rune of Arcana again, in order to see what I need for this spell. Now I right-click with Vintium Dust, and it says that I need to put in my scroll. It says I need Vintium Dust, the hammer, the focus, Vintium Dust. So what I need is the feather. Oh, more silk. I don't have silk right now. In order to make silk, the thing that I will need is some string, so I'll be right back with that. Okay, just finishing up this spell. Gathered the remaining materials. I'm interested to see what else there is to cast this spell. And we now have our fling spell. And I guess I will mark it with... Sure, this icon looks fitting. What it does... Huh. It's a touch fling. Oh, I meant to do a self fling. Oh well. Yep, it... Zoom. 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 Zoom! Actually, I probably shouldn't terrorize the local population. Okay, I thought that this would fling myself, but I made the wrong variation, which is one reason why you should pay attention to what the spell says when you craft it. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I meant to make. However, that's fine. I'll just keep it handy. Oh yeah, so actually, one thing I forgot to mention is the way that affinity works. So as you cast spells of that affinity more and more often, which actually that does nothing because the spells will become cheaper of that type. However, there are opposites. I believe it will say so in the Codex Arcana. Mana regeneration? No. Tools, sorcery, I believe. Affinities. As they become cheaper, they will have discounts. But the opposite spells will become more expensive. So air and earth are opposites. And I created air and earth spell. So they will cancel out each other's affinity over time. However, the slight problem is that I first need to do so. And it also mentioned spells becoming rote more quickly with that. And that is because if we go under sorcery, you can look under break, and that is almost completely full right there. Oh, that's fun. And touch is about halfway full. The way that works is that once that becomes full, there's a thing called a rope book you can make, and you can create better spells. Well, not better spells, just spells that you don't need to craft the scroll of them when you have them fully mastered. And that's a pretty good feature, so I'm going to just continue casting the spell. Maybe I will get all the way up to max power. Break has become rote. There we go. So now when I make a rote book, I can have this break spell be an option to cast it for that. Actually, I'm going to cast a bunch of these in order to get my magic level up, because I want to complete all of the achievements for that particular level. Because if I go into here and look back at the oculus, it will say that once I complete 10 of the 12 tasks, which I've completed 9, I will be able to advance to Tier 2. And the way that you advance between the tiers is slightly different for each of them. For example, once you get to level 1, so the way that you got to the first tier is by getting the Codex Arcana, reading a little bit, and then taking a nap. And then you got access to mana spells. But then for Tier 2, I believe you take another nap. But then Tier 3, actually factions are in here. You can ally yourself with a faction. If you look, it says your faction, none. Well, you will be able to choose a faction. Factions will provide you with abilities and spells that the other factions do not have. So you have to make a very educated guess. Well, or just whichever one you find to be fun. So, thank you for watching this long and rambly video, and I hope that you have a good day and that you learned something about this mod. This is one of the a pretty fun mod from what I've played so far, except for the fact that I had to wander over 5,000 blocks in order to get all the way here. But I have now successfully gotten all the way over here, and I hopefully will be able to have some fun playing around with it with you guys. So, thank you for watching, and have a good day.